Chances are, whether you love it or hate it, you most certainly have heard of Al Jazeera, and you probably have watched it. But when Saudi Arabia and 3 Arab states called for Al Jazeera to be shut down, it sparked a wave of global resistance among the media and human rights organizations. The Guardian called the attack on Al Jazeera an assault on free speech to subvert the impact of media in the Arab world that should be condemned and resisted. And the New York Times editorial board said this misguided attack on Al Jazeera was an attempt by Saudi Arabia and its anti-Qatar coalition to eliminate a voice that could lead citizens to question their rulers. Today, the countries calling for the shutdown, including the United Arab Emirates, where Saudi-owned Al Arabiya is based, have passed a law that makes it illegal for residents to express any support for Qatar. Otherwise, they go to jail for up to 15 years or pay a fine of $136,000. Al Jazeera sees the call for its closure as nothing short of a siege against the journalistic profession itself and an attempt to silence freedom of expression in the region. So I'm here inside the Al Jazeera English newsroom to talk to some journalists and find out how do they really feel about this whole situation. So how does it feel to be covering the news when you somehow are the news?
I think it's more important than ever that Al Jazeera does what it's always done, which is to provide fair and accurate, balanced reporting around the world. I think this is an opportunity to show that what started many years ago as a bold experiment and was regarded as a bold experiment by many parts of the world has transformed over the years into a very legitimate news organization.
Is it distracting in any way, shape, or form?
I think from a work level, I have to be honest, no. We concentrate on the stories that we're doing, the stories that we're trying to tell about the world, to the world. On a personal level, of course, we have families here, we have friends here, and we are aware of the impact that it's having on the country.
Yes, I was shocked by the news. I think a lot of the world was shocked. But to me, it's no more shocking than the war in Syria. It's no more shocking than the government's bombing civilians. It's no more shocking than an entire southern province of the Philippines exploding in violence. These are just as shocking, if not more shocking, than the Gulf crisis story ever was to me.
How did you feel when you started seeing all the support come in from human rights organizations, from the media?
At first, I was a bit overwhelmed because living here and then not knowing what might happen, and then seeing the support, from the Guardian, such a big organization. I had people from my background, Senegal and Paris as well, calling me, asking me how you feel, and we know that we're doing the right thing. They can't just, ask us to do things which are going to go against freedom of speech. So because this is what this whole thing is about.
Al Jazeera was established in 1996. It quickly grew into a multilingual global media giant, building huge audiences in the Arab world and beyond. It broke censorship norms and reached directly into the living rooms of tens of millions of Arab households, thirsty for any alternative to state-run channels that had monopolized airwaves for decades. The truth is, Al Jazeera has stirred public opinion in ways Arab governments couldn't ignore, serving as a critical source of news as the Arab uprisings rolled across the region in 2011. But like all media organizations, Al Jazeera, which arrived to the region long before the internet, has made mistakes and is accused of not being critical of Qatar and of following the political agenda of its host country in its editorial line. Still, less than 10 years after its creation, Al Jazeera was already ranked the 5th most influential brand in the world, behind global icons such as Apple, Google, IKEA, and Starbucks. At a time when Arab states are increasingly blocking access to news sites through draconian press laws and arresting journalists, Al Jazeera Arabic remains among the top-viewed news channels in the region. One thing's for sure, Al Jazeera has become a news organization that politicians all around the world simply can't ignore.